Ape, I guess this will be my first video on Deadlock and just something for other people to kind of learn. I am kind of glad that this is like a smaller channel because I kind of hope that this doesn't get removed, but it's kind of hard for me to explain it to people when I'm playing, right? So, people I'm stacking with and kind of like explaining my ideas, right? Um, but basically, this is going to be what I like to do in the mid game. It's like a mid boss fake out, right? And it also completely hides your intentions, right? So if you know at a certain point that you can solo mid boss, right? There's a bunch of characters that can generally solo mid boss, like Ivy, Haze, anything that's going to be like gun based. And can kind of abuse the infinite ammo slide to keep DPS up, right? To pretty much say no regen to the mid boss, right? So what your goal is going to be is to get the audio cue off of mid boss, right? Get the audio cue off of mid boss, force rotations into the mid boss, because they're going to hear the audio cue and they're going to come running, right? And what generally happens is, at least in, so this is an Archon lobby, and what I would say is what's going to happen is people are going to be spread apart. People are going to be kind of like freaking out that you're doing mid boss, and they're going to assume that the entire enemy team is there. And then at that point, you're collapsing in on them, right? Because people are going to rotate from everywhere, all across the map, right? So what you do is you get the audio cue out, and then you disperse off of mid boss, and you kind of make the call out like, hey, everybody kind of hover around different parts above mid boss to catch people rotating in, right? And catch them as they're trying to like run towards the mid boss, because they're like, oh, mid boss is going on. Their entire team is over here, right? So yeah, best case scenario, you get a lot of picks. Worst case scenario, you just get a lot of like poke. I would call it, which would then set up for the team fight for mid boss, right? So off of like your teammates actually trying to collapse in on them, right? So I'm gonna kind of speed this up. I'm gonna show you. So I get the call here. I'm like, all right, nobody's rotating in. We're backing off. I wait. Audio cue. Mo rotates in, and I'm like, what's the point in us? What's the point in us continuing on mid boss, right? There really isn't one. So we have two setup characters. We have Mo, we have Dynamo. So I'm like, all right, we can move off the pit and go look for a pick, right? So I think I made the call at VC to get off, and if you look at this, we have two that rotated in. We have Kelvin and Paradox. 7 is actually really good at killing both of these, right? And I'm doing this with like 20k, 20k. I haven't even spent all my money. So realistically, you could probably do this with like 18k or like 17k. You can kind of force this, right? Force a rotation in, and I think I actually had burned a lot of money on like regen items and stuff. So I mean, it might even be lower than that, right? So, but the main purpose, main thing that you're looking for is Fleet Foot, Surge of Power, and Boundless. That's kind of like the breakpoint that I've noticed on 7, as to when you can do the infinite slide, and pretty much you do need the Spirit Lifesteal to not get fucked by the mid boss and actually move off whenever they rotate in to actually kill people. So this is kind of, I'm gonna showcase what happens, right? You're just causing a lot of chaos, right? And I don't even gotta stick around. Right? I'm going under here to basically hide. Like I'm trying not to die right now. That's my goal. I'm trying to cause people to freak out. That's my goal.
They destroyed our blue walker.
You are all bearing witness to perfection.
And so now, what's the added benefit of this, right? Let's say we go even in the fights, right? Basically, where we're currently at, we're pretty much even. What am I gonna do here is now, because the audio cue is gone, they're gonna go back to him being like, oh, okay, mid-boss is whatever. But the interesting thing is they haven't added mid-boss like full HP bar regen, so if you do damage to it, the damage sticks, right? So it's kind of an important thing to note. So I can do this stealthily, right? The enemy team will not know. I can move off. I think I do it at a later time because I'm like, I need items. I need HP, obviously. But they have no audio. So me and Mo are doing it. Mo's tanking for me. I have the damage. And if you notice that, there wasn't a roar. So if you look at the positioning of Paradox, she just hit her walker. She's not going to get... She's either going to get here right as the crystal drops or, you know, something, right? But look at Hayes. Hayes is all the way pushing up on the side lane. She's kind of assuming, like, okay, they're not on mid-boss anymore. She's not even hovering the area, right? They kind of assumed it went down. Drifter doesn't even realize this is actually happening, and the call that I was actually making. I wasn't even carrying the game here. It's just kind of like, I'm not going to say necessarily a win harder button, but if you have a lot of coordination, especially with the team, you're playing in like a 6-stack, a 5-stack, 4-stack, right? And you can kind of coordinate this and be like, hey, I'm going to get the mid-boss roar out, the roar audio cue, that's what I call it. Get the roar audio cue, kind of bang the bell, right, and kind of draw them in, right? And you're like, hey, I want people to move in at random angles, and then like obviously you would have like your pick characters like Drifter, your Mina, your Shiv, right? So we have a lot of good pick making characters, especially into their comp, right? So they have stuff like Paradox, Vindicta, and Haze. They have like really easy victims for us to just kind of kill. So in this situation, if you have your Mina, Drifter, Shiv outside, possibly even sending your Mo up there, and possibly just keeping the Dynamo with you for safety or something. I don't know. You can keep the Mo with you and swap the Dynamo for it if you think you're going to have to catch multiple people. It really just kind of depends in this kind of situation, right? Obviously, you're not going to encounter the same kind of games every game. But because we have so many pick characters, I'm like, this makes a lot of sense. It just amplifies it, right? This makes sense at different points. You can kind of do this when you're behind. You can do this when you're ahead, and it's a good way to incite chaos, right, on the enemy team and kind of make them freak out a little bit. Look at that. Don't even contest. Don't even contest, right? Because the notice, they didn't get a notice on when mid-boss was started, right? So the timing at which they can actually operate on was a little bit different, right? So it's kind of something I wanted to showcase. Little something I learned. I do also have a lot of other stuff that I learned and kind of taught myself. I was ex-challenger in League of Legends. I think I peaked like rank 37, rank 38, somewhere in that area. I don't even know. I think it peaked. It was like 600 something LP challenger, and yeah, they did it on multiple roles, and I've just been trying to apply knowledge. So a lot of like lane concepts, a lot of like how you would actually want to move around the map. Obviously, the game is very different from League. The way I kind of look at it is everybody's a jungler and everybody's a mid laner, and everybody has bot lane concepts into it, right? So like the 2v2 concepts, right? So kind of like parallel lines. I'm not necessarily going to call them parallel lines because parallel line theory doesn't necessarily exist in Deadlock, right? But there's a lot of overarching concepts, especially with how you can isolate targets and stuff, right? So I'll definitely be posting more, but for now, this is just for documentation and for people that I talk to kind of understand what I'm doing, right? So yeah, that's it. See ya.